no, I'm scarred by this topless man. Don't push children down the stairs though. Just say you don't mind the child dying. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I feel like there's two types of ways to react when you have an opinion about something, and this is the scale. You can sit anywhere on the scale. One end is the people that like will say an opinion and then somebody says a different opinion, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah. And on the complete other side of the scale, there's people that will like start screaming like, that's my opinion. I sit pretty far this side of the scale because I just think I'm wrong. So I wanted to film this video for quite a long time, but I didn't want to sit here say my opinions because I just don't back them ever. I just don't think I have the authority to review things. But I recently did some critical reviews for my uni course because I do acting. I say every 2 seconds. So I feel like maybe I have a little bit, maybe. I'm doing it now. So I printed out, I haven't even explained what the video is. So I have got some of my favourite pieces. They're not necessarily my favourite pieces in the world, but they're ones that I could find reviews for, because without the reviews this video couldn't happen. So I had to find ones that I like, and also there are actually reviews that I could look at and react to. So yes, most of them are musicals because you can find more for musicals, and I just think that's a little bit more interesting. I don't think people want me to be sat down reviewing, like looking at reviews for these really obscure plays that no one realistically gives a shit about. I have printed some of them off because my laptop is broken and I placed them down for a bit so I kind of forget about them, and now I'm going to react to them again because I don't have a good memory. So this is like me reading them for the first time again, realistically. Bit of a PSA. Should I get my microphone? Bit of a PSA. You can have your opinions. My opinions aren't the be and end all. You can have any opinion. No, I shouldn't say that actually, it's Pride Month. You can't have any opinion you want to. You can have an opinion on subjective things that you want to. On theatre. Okay, let's get on to the video. I don't need this. Okay, so first one is a play. So the first ones I've got is Ocean at the End of the Lane by the National Theatre. I saw this with my drama A-level class and it was brilliant. I haven't read the novel by Neil Gaiman. I've recently did a short film based on a Neil Gaiman novella, which was really cool, so maybe biased now. I thought the use of puppetry was incredible. I love puppetry. I did cry during this piece of theatre. I was sobbing. It wasn't even during the sad or the scary parts. The part when they go into, spoiler alert, part when they go into the bucket and they come out as like these puppets had me in tears. I love puppetry. The movement choreography was done by Stephen Hoggett, who has done The Cursed Child. He did Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night Time, which again is one of my favourite pieces. I should have got reviews for that. I didn't. Oops. I think his way of making characters interact is incredible. I think it's really powerful. Reviews. A tedious disappointment. Expected much more having read some of the glowing reviews. A lot of the reviews for this are they're bigging it up quite a lot. It was nonsensical tedium. Didn't find any tense moments. On the edge of my seat, ... ready to go. I disagree. I think saying there wasn't any tense moments, I think is again very subjective, but there was some incredibly tense with the music and with the movement. There was one part where there was a bloody hand coming up from a bathtub. I was shaking, crying, panicking. That was tense. Also the part where Ursula was like going between different doors and there was like different actors so they could appear different sides of the stage and you didn't know where she was going to come from next. That was gripping. Just say you don't mind the child dying. Matinee filled with school groups munching and rustling their way through it. Okay. This I can get behind. Please, I beg, if you go to a performance of any sort and you're bringing snacks with you, cool, awesome, eat your snacks, have a great time. Please get ones that aren't individually wrapped. I can hear it from like 5 rows in front of me and I can only find another 1-star review of this, and that says, dreary tedium, nonsensical and boring. That's a review that perfectly describes itself. Next, we've got one of my favourite musicals, which is Matilda. Again, I am very biased with this. I played Miss Trunchbull in Matilda Junior during my A-levels, and it was the best experience. The character to me is so interesting, so seeing it done professionally was brilliant. However, a lot of people don't agree, so let's see what they have to say. Scarily deafening. This musical is absolutely awful. My 8-year-old daughter loves the book and film, and I was quite excited to take her to see it. Unfortunately, the sound mixing was shocking. I can only imagine the person in charge of sound is in need of some hearing aids, and the whole thing is impossibly loud. A Metallica concert is a lullaby compared to this. I'm just imagining like loads of metalheads going to what they expect to be a Metallica concert, and and then loads of musical theatre songs started playing. I think there would be an actual riot. My daughter was so scared by the loud, sudden noises and deafening music. Sorry, I'm not laughing. That's actually so sad. Sorry. No, that's not funny. There's a bin minute here. She cried through most of the play. Avoid. Oh, that's really sad actually. Oh no. Sorry, that's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's just not funny, is it? I would recommend, I can't remember much about the sound mixing, so it couldn't have been that bad for me to pick up on it. I enjoyed it. I'm quite sensitive to loud sounds, personally. Music is a little bit different for me. It's normally about like the sonority of sound rather than like the loudness of sound for me, but I am quite sensitive to different sounds. So I would recommend, especially if you have young children and they're sensitive to sound, I recommend taking just some little earbuds with you to any sort of like loud venue, whether that's theatre, concert, whatever. Just pop them in, and that can make the experience a lot more enjoyable for those children or adults. Me. Yeah, I recommend that. I hope she's okay. Next one is awful. Matilda the Musical was 2.5 hours of my life I will never get back. Yikes. Like going to a bad school talent show that you had to pay £200 for. That oxytocin has definitely left my body. Awful. I love how reviews just love having awful, full stop. Even my 11-year-old son thought it was the worst musical he's ever seen. Big up you for taking your children to see theatre. I would have left halfway through, but he wanted to see if it improved. It didn't. You know what? Respect for giving it a chance. Very amateurish at points, e.g. Matilda fumbling down a bookcase clumsily. She's a child! This is a child actor. There's going to be mistakes. You should be able to forgive grown-up actors for making mistakes on stage because it happens. They have to do this 8 times a week. There's going to be mistakes, and this is a child. A child's going, like... Yes, a child fell down the bookcase. It's gonna happen, unfortunately. Hope that the actor was okay. Dancing out of time a lot. I mean, I can't say I wasn't there. It wasn't when I was there, but maybe the sound mixing wasn't too great for them on stage. Who knows? Lyrics hard to hear. Not as good as the CD other than Miss Honey. I don't think you should be able to base a live performance off a CD. I said it, I don't actually think that's probably too much of a unpopular opinion, right? Because they're doing the dances, even if you think they have time. They're doing the dances. There's so much movement to do. There's so much more than the vocals when going to a live performance. I was going to say something wild. You know what I'm going to say? Even Freddie Mercury's vocals in some points of his career on stage weren't as good as the recordings, and that is okay, and that is what the magic of live performance is, because you're never going to see it the same as one of the recordings. I think that's brilliant. I think that's awesome. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. But you're very welcome to listen to the CD. The soundtrack, banging soundtrack, banging soundtrack. And the last one says, this is a horror movie for kids. I don't think this movie is for kids. There should be some age restrictions. This is a horror movie for kids. If you don't want to traumatize your child, don't watch it. I think you might have got a bit confused. This is a musical. The Matilda film was banging, to be fair. Better than Dear Evan Hansen. Segueing into Dear Evan Hansen, I think that this is an incredible piece of theatre. There is a lot of controversy surrounding this particular piece. I think there's a lot of valid concerns over this piece. I think certain characters, Evan, get too much empathy, but I think that's personal experience, preference, whatever. I think there's some problems with this, but all in all, I love this piece of theatre. I think it's brilliant. I cried all the way through it. I think it's awesome that they've paired with mental health charities. I think that's really cool. I think the message of You Will Be Found is awesome as a separate thing from the piece. I just think that message is really cool. I love the setup of it. I love how they've put technology into it to make it a little bit more modern. Awful. There we go. The awful again. Dear Evan Hansen's sleeping noise. Insert here. What an awful show. We left at the interval. I would like to say, if you are leaving a musical in the interview, you can't review it. Properly, anyway. I get that you hated it that much, but one, you've paid to see it, so you might as well just see how it goes. Unless it's making you that uncomfortable, then fair enough. This is quite a triggering piece of performance. That's fair. But I think you have to be able to review a piece properly. Maybe that's just coming from my point of view, where I have to write like critical reviews. That sounds pretentious. And so I would like to say, whenever somebody said they've only seen half of it, I am taking their review with a heavy pinch of salt. A morbid and perplexing story that at best was awkward and difficult to watch. I think that might be the point. I think for me, I found that's what the point kind of was. I think it is supposed to be awkward. I think it is supposed to kind of make you think about things that are a little bit more complex to think about. I think people get a little bit confused when there is comedy, but also a lot of like complex issues that need talking about. But I would like to throw it back to something that my good old pal Bertolt Brecht said, which is talking about that people will laugh at things and then they will reflect on why they are laughing. If you laugh at something that is you shouldn't laugh about, right? Like if you make a joke about a social issue sensitively, and then you laugh and then you feel bad about laughing about it, and that makes you think about why you feel bad about laughing at it. Does that make sense? A toddler could conjure up a more enchanting and captivating story. I hope a toddler can come up with that. That's really sad if a toddler is that emotionally mature to think of that storyline. I hope that toddler is okay. Ignore the hype and spend your money on uplifting shows like Come From Far Away, and Juliet, and Waitress. I really didn't like Anne Juliet, so I can't really comment on that. Waitress has got domestic abuse in it, so there is some morbid discussions, important discussions that need to be had there. I think people go to musical theatre expecting this uplifting experience all the time, where I think that musicals can be used as a way of driving change, as well as like some more like surrealist activism, what you would normally think like a more socio-political piece of theatre could look like. Isn't necessarily what people think of when they think of musical theatre, but I do think it's a very good opportunity to get the wider public to think about issues. This one's actually a 2-star review because I couldn't find that many ones to talk about in the 1-star. Most of them were just being like, I hated it, which, you know what, fair enough. You speak your truth. Least talented cast. Was really looking forward to seeing this show, and although I enjoyed the storyline, it was ruined by horrendous casting of some of the characters. I've never seen such terrible singing in musical theatre. The show is quite minimalistic in terms of set, etc., and so needs strong voices to carry it. The lad playing Evan, who may have been an understudy, in brackets, missed about 30% of the notes to the point where it's actually painful to watch. A couple walked out before the end, or a few couples walked out before the end. Such a shame, as it could have been a lot better. I saw it with Sam Tutty, so for me I had the lad playing Evan, phenomenal vocals. He really, really does encapsulate the emotion within the songs, as well as being able to portray them well, as in like technically well. I do think technique in musical theatre should be a secondary thing. I think it's more important that you convey a story with that than necessarily having all the notes right until it's like off key and sounds disgusting. Then maybe that's a little bit too far. Again, awful. Favourite word for reviewers, clearly. To my family to see the show December 18th, 2019. I wonder what I was doing on December the 18th, 2019. I'm going to put a picture here of what I was doing because I'm quite curious. I've read the book, so have I. I've really liked the book, and have listened to Ben Platt on CD for a while, so I know exactly what to expect. We saw the understudy, David Breeds. Sorry, that's not funny. Sorry, though. Okay. I'm an adult. In the role of Evan, and he was just awful. Oh no, that's so sad. If somebody said that about me, I would actually cry. He could barely sing. Maybe this is the same person that's being talked about 2 times. He could barely sing. He could barely sing the role through. What is that? He could barely sing the role through his crying. Bro took cry offsets a little bit too far, but less. He would win an Oscar if this was in a film, but it's not. Maybe he should have replaced Ben Platt in the film. Maybe that could have been sorted out. It's a musical and his role is a big sing. I love when my role is a big sing. Too big for him. Sorry. What a waste of money. I could never recommend this musical to anyone, especially if you are unlucky enough to see the understudy. Can we have a moment of appreciation for understudies, please? Because I feel like they're being talked down a little bit too much in this video. Next, this is one of my favourite musicals. I've seen this about 6 times, both on the West End and the tour around the UK, and that is School of Rock. I love the movie. I think the movie is... I just love Jack Black. I think that's what it is. I think he is so, like... I don't know. I just aspire to, like, have that much, like, love of life. It's great. And also he plays Poe in Kung Fu Panda, which is really cool. So, the first review is terrible, ... I always feel really on edge when people put 2 dots rather than 3, because I feel like 3 is the right number of dots. I know this musical has great reviews, but having read them and decided to go on that basis, I have to say I'm just not sure why it has so many good reviews. Oh. The lead actor has some very questionable singing and acting ability. Oh. I saw, for the majority of the times I saw Jake Sharp as Dewey Finn. He's incredible. He was a lovely guy when I met him. Lovely. What a guy. Singing, great. I think he really encapsulates being able to do... I've said encapsulate so many times. You can tell I've been doing written work, right? I think he really does able to have the comedy while singing, but also it sounds good, I think. Personally. The children were talented, but the whole show was loud, clumsy and irritating. Loud is about rock, so fair enough. Clumsy, I've always seen it when it's been very well executed. Irritating, I think that's just a preference. I can understand why some people might find the character of Dewey Finn irritating, in the sense of it is a very hit or miss type of comedy for certain people, I think. So I can kind of understand that. Me personally, I think it's really funny and entertaining, but I can completely understand that that is a complete opinion thing. I'm supposed to be defending my point. I don't think it was irritating at all. How dare you say that? I think that the child cast is supposed to be the ones that are shining through the piece, and they often do. I think that is very important. After about 30 minutes, we were just waiting for the interval so we could leave. You see this is my salt. What a shame, as we love West End musicals and had high hopes for this Lloyd Webber one, but it wasn't to be. A total waste of money. Again, 2 dots. Please, put 1 more, it's unnerving me. I know everyone has different tastes. Respect that you can acknowledge that, but definitely not for us. You know what? Fair. I mean, no. Wrong. Very rude, sarcastic and unprofessional bunch of kids/teenagers instead of suitable employees. They are okay to raise their voice to push the kids and just ignore any questions you ask them. Any other word I have heard from them while they were communicating to each other was swearing. Come on, we bring our children here. Do they run a volunteering service so people who cannot afford the tickets come and work there? No need for the classism. Shame for London. They're a disgrace, the whole of London. The show should be closed down altogether with the theatre and management team. I tried to complain and received nasty feedback. Can you imagine going up to somebody after your kid, by the sounds of it, has just been pushed by somebody, and you go, excuse me, sorry, like, I don't, like, really appreciate the fact that you've just pushed my kid down a flight of stairs, and they're actually, well, you know what, you're a... Because personally, I would piss myself. Don't push children down the stairs, though. I happened to catch this show whilst it was in London, as it was the only matinee showing. Normally I would come out of a musical / show with something good to say about it. School of Rock left me feeling deflated just 20 minutes in, and even had me thinking of leaving in the interval. Thinking? So you didn't? Something which I've never done. We love to see it. As I said elsewhere here, the actor who played Dewey, in brackets, teacher, sounds like he's constantly straining his voice to hit the high notes. I think, is Dewey Finn a tenor role? Sorry, I dropped something. I didn't particularly rate him as an actor either. Some of the child actors were better than him. Again, I think that is the point. Note to parents. Oh no. Oh no. The musical starts with a topless... It does. With a topless man in a very X-rated performance singing I'm Too Hot For You. He's not topless, right? He has like a vest on. I mean, he technically is topless, but he has like a vest on. I'm maybe looking into it too much, but the fact that the musical is aimed directly at children, I thought this to be quite odd. To me, that was just a parody of a rock concert. I don't think it was that. I think I saw it first when I was... When did I see it first? I don't know. I think I was quite young. Like 12, maybe? I don't remember being like, oh, my eyes. No, I'm scarred by this topless man. I also once, I was in the front row for the couple of times I saw it. And the man who was singing looked directly at me while he was singing this. And I was there like, you know what? Yes, I was having a great time. Finally, I put this at the end because I don't think many people care about this one, but I care about it. This is The Trial by Steven Berkoff. It's based off Kafka's novel. I love Franz Kafka. I love Steven Berkoff. I just really like surrealism. I think that's what it is, and you can probably tell by me saying that I like those two artists. I think Total Theatre is a really, really, really good technique. I've used it. It's something I continue to use in my practice. I love it. One of my favourite things I've ever done. I think the idea of making an audience uncomfortable and making an audience confused so they think about it, and using like over-exaggerated vocalization and making them realise that this is what life looks like when you over-exaggerate it. I just think that is so clever. He gave somebody a death threat because they didn't like his piece of theatre, which isn't, if that isn't showing how much you love your art form, then I don't know what is. This is just little segments from a big review, because this is the one I saw first and I know I wanted to talk about it, so that's why. I'd like to begin this review by saying I don't know Kafka and I don't know Berkoff. Ow! Ow! No, please! No. Well, now you do. I recommend reading The Trial. I recommend reading Metamorphosis if you want to read my favourite novella of all time. I love it. I felt so out of depth watching this show and absolutely bloody confused. This is what I wanted to talk about. If you don't know, like the style and the vibe that's going on, why did I do it like that? The vibe of Berkovian theatre. Like, if you don't know what you're getting yourself in for when watching something that Steven Berkoff has created, you are going to absolutely think that you've just gone on an acid trip. You're going to think you've like accidentally taken like shrooms before you come into the theatre. because it is just mental. Other things that he's done, Decadence is something he's done. He's done Metamorphosis. He's done his own thing from the Telltale Heart, like he did that extract of it. I would be confused if I hadn't have studied it, you know? Like, I would be like, what the is going on? Sometimes Clayton had the actors making the sounds. Yes! Use yourselves! The actor! Yes! I agree! Which, as a whole, was effective and fit perfectly with the physical theatre. Physical theatre is my favourite kind of methodology for making theatre. I think use yourself. Yeah, brilliant. Almost wish Clayton had the courage to leave out all the other sounds, leave all the sounds to his cast. Yes. The audience is so willing to forgive an inaccurate vocal doorbell sound just to avoid breaking the magic of this production. I think people need to give the audience's like suspension of disbelief so much credit, especially when you're going to watch a Berkovian piece of theatre or like any kind of like Arto, like if you're going to see Theatre of Cruelty, which I haven't really seen anything like that around recently. I think people are very good at realising that things on stage aren't going to be exactly like real life, and that is good and that is lovely and that is the power of theatre, and I love that, and I'm getting really, really into this. The fact that I love theatre, breathe. And then it also says that it's rather a Marmite play and he's not sure if he actually enjoyed it, which is very fair. I would agree that it's a very Marmite play and you're not, yeah, yes. Also, I went to see Frantic Assembly's Metamorphosis, and I was trying to find reviews of it because I remember seeing people hated it, and I was like, no, please, I loved it. I actually did my monologue for that for one of my first year units, and it was a really fun one to play around with. It was Greta's from Act 2 at Scene 1, if you were wondering. No one was wondering. No one cares. But no, it was really fun to play around with. I really did it. And I did it with Animal Work, so I was a wolf and her. It was fun. It was good. It was a good time. That's it. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to try and film more over the summer, but it's just been so busy. Like, I didn't want to stop my coursework and be like, oh, I need to film a YouTube video, because there just wasn't practical. And it's really sad because I love filming videos. I really, really do. It's one of my favourite things to do. I need to edit because I need to learn how to edit better because I'm doing a short film next term and I have to edit. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please remember to click the like button, subscribe if you want, maybe leave a comment. I got it right first try. I haven't done that in ages. And I will see you in my next video, whenever that comes out. Bye, guys.